Hello folks, welcome to the live broadcast in this latest breaking news story where this aeroplane, Delta Airlines, has flipped over on the runway in Toronto, Canada. Thanks for joining us everyone as this breaking news story is coming in. So I wanted to draw your attention to this and do some coverage and just basically show you what's going on. Again, with all these stories, it's not to cause fear. It's not nice. Some of these situations are not nice. Of course, we have a hope beyond this in this world, but this is what's been going on in the last hour. This story has come in, basically, where this incident has occurred in Canada. So I will show you some of the coverage. I will show you some of the footage. These are the latest images we have here on the runway in Toronto. And you can see they're pretty striking. You can see the aeroplane, Delta Airlines, basically just upside down by the runway. We've covered a number of stories like this in the recent months. A few of these. But yeah, not linked directly, but this is another one. So this plane in Toronto, Canada has flipped upside down. So far we know that there's been several injured. That's all we know so far. Apparently there may be 3 that are critically injured as the plane crashes and flips upon landing in Toronto. Emergency teams are responding to a plane crash at Toronto Pearson International Airport. The airport says it is aware of an incident involving a Delta Airlines plane arriving from Minneapolis, and all passengers and crew are accounted for. Ontario's Air Ambulance Service says 3 people are critically injured. Police say circumstances surrounding the crash are currently unknown, but most of the passengers are out and unharmed. But 3 have been critically injured. They've just said 10 minutes ago. Peel Regional Paramedic Services in Toronto has just released a statement saying that 15 people have been injured in the incident. Of those, 1 child and 2 adults are critically injured, it says. Very sad. The statement adds that all other injuries range from minor to moderate. All crew and passengers have been accounted for. There was heavy snowfall in Toronto before the plane landed. They do not yet know the cause of the crash. Toronto Pearson International Airport had been experiencing many delays because of winter weather. Toronto has been recovering after back-to-back storms blanketed the city, with road conditions still bad in some places. Pearson had cancelled or delayed hundreds of flights over the weekend and into Monday due to these storms. So there's some footage which I'll show you now of the plane just after this happened. This has been shared on social media. I will show you this now. Quite just crazy images here of the incident just after it happened.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site. Upside down.
Look at that. Unbelievable.
Most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some stuff going on. We're
Unbelievable.
in Toronto.
Never seen anything
We
quite
just
like
landed.
that.
Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site. Upside down. Everybody, most people appear to be okay. We're all getting
Wow, I
off.
think they're very shaken up.
Some stuff going on.
And yeah, just a lot of people fortunate to get out of that by the looks of it.
We have breaking news from Pearson.
These images here of people escaping from this plane that is flipped upside down. Some other images here that have been shared on social media. Don't know what that one is. Oh, you see there. Wow, look at that. The the smoke coming up from when the incident happened there, which you can see here in the centre of the shot. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
We're in Toronto.
Crazy to see. Hello, Luke Shepherd. Thank you to all the mods that are here and contributing and helping us to have the chat running in the live broadcast. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's the latest in terms of the images there that have been shared on social media. So this was a flight from Minneapolis, which crash landed at Canada's busiest airport. And you can see here the flight tracker of the plane coming in to that airport, the flight from Minneapolis to Toronto, 7:12. And yeah, so this has happened, I believe, in the last hour. So I'll give you any updates we have in terms of this story and this situation. I could show you. Here we go. Here's an article here. Toronto plane crash, 8 injured as plane flips at airport in Canada. A Delta Airlines jet arriving from Minneapolis flipped while landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport, injuring 8 people. A plane has crashed and flipped at Toronto Pearson International Airport, injuring at least 8 people. Striking footage shared on social media appeared to show a Delta Airlines jet, which was carrying 80 passengers, upside down, with firefighters hosing down the outside of the plane. In one clip, a passenger on the plane shared footage of someone being helped out of the crashed plane on snow-covered tarmac. "We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down," they explained through rasped breaths. "The fire department is on site. It's upside down. Most everyone seemed to be okay. Broadly enough, there's some smoke going off." Paramedics confirmed that 8 people were injured in the crash, with one person, well, now several, 3, I think they said, since this, 3 critically injured, sadly 1 child. The rest of the injuries have been described as mild to moderate. All 80 people on board the flight were evacuated. Toronto's Pearson Airport said earlier on Monday it was dealing with high winds and frigid temperatures as airlines attempted to catch up with missed flights after a weekend snowstorm dumped over 22 centimetres of snow at the airport. The airport said it was aware of an incident involving a Delta Airlines plane arriving from Minneapolis and that emergency teams were responding. The US Federal Aviation Administration said all departures were halted following the crash. "There is a plane crash, however. We don't know the circumstances surrounding it at this point," said Constable Sarah Patton of the Peel Regional Police in Ontario. "It is my understanding that most of the passengers are out and unharmed, but we're still trying to make sure, so we are still on the scene investigating." The Transportation Safety Board of Canada did not immediately respond for a comment. The crash in Canada comes after some other recent crashes in North America in late January. An Army helicopter collided with a passenger jet in Washington, killing 67 people, while at least 7 people died when a medical transport plane crashed in Philadelphia. You see the Toronto Pearson posted on Twitter. Toronto Pearson is aware of an incident upon landing involving a Delta Airlines plane coming from Minneapolis. Emergency teams are responding. All passengers and crew are accounted for. David says in the chat, flights remain a safe way to travel, despite these incidents recently. But this is another one involving a plane, which we've seen in recent months. But so it was at the Toronto's Pearson International Airport. I will show you where that is. But the flight was coming from Minneapolis. This is where the Toronto Pearson International Airport is. Just here. But yeah, crazy stuff. But so it seems that everyone got out of it, but there's a few that are critically injured, sadly. So I guess we'll see how that develops in terms of the situation. But so the Transportation Safety Board in Canada has just said that they are deploying a team to investigate an aircraft accident at Toronto Lester B. Pearson International Airport. The TSB will gather information and assess the occurrence. But yeah, they're saying that the weather could have something to do with that, of course. But sounds like they've been having some bad weather storms there recently. But of course, that makes you wonder whether it should have been landing there in the first place, I guess. I mean, I'm not an expert on aviation, but as in the safety of that. Last time we had some people in here that actually were pilots, so they gave us some good feedback on
lights on the vehicle. I can still see the plane, of course, on its roof, and the fire are on scene doing their work. That remains the same, and I have seen a couple of Toronto paramedic vehicles go by. I suspect what's happened here, and this is just based on my experience with emergency services, if Peel paramedics are tied up here at the airport, Toronto will step in and do their calls for service in and around the areas here. I think this is why we are seeing the Toronto paramedic vehicles going by as often as we are. But as far as any activity on the airport property itself, there is no such activity when it comes to paramedic vehicles, and there is no more emergency vehicles going in or coming out of the airport from what I can see. So there is an update coming, eh?
Yeah, I think they're sent, like as you're doing your hit, they're gonna send Tom
Good.
and Melissa to Terminal
Good.
3.
And we're staying right here.
Yeah.
Good.
Because like at some point, it'll be all good.
We're all gone.
Yeah, I gotta.
Lights on the vehicle. I can still.
Who with you? Just for clarity.
Well, the scene almost looks the same from our vantage point, Bakari. I can still see the emergency lights on the vehicles. Fire is definitely on scene. I don't see any paramedic vehicles from where I am, but most likely they are all tied up with patients. Now, we did get confirmation that there were 15 people injured, 12 with non-serious injuries, miraculously. Sadly, 3 people have got very serious injuries. As we reported earlier, a man, a woman, and a child were all airlifted to various trauma centers. Now, just while I remember this, Bakari, as we're watching traffic go by us here, cars are stopping in a live lane. It doesn't look too bad right now, but just a short time ago, they were lined up. Cars were honking, going around one another. It is very dangerous to stop in a live lane of traffic, to get out of your vehicle and put your nose in between the mesh of the fence trying to get a better look. It's just silly. And there was almost 2 accidents here just before we came to air. So if anybody's listening to this and you're coming by the area, please don't stop in a live lane of traffic, man. The roads are slippery and it can be very, very dangerous as well. So the airport is closed down. There are no incoming or outgoing flights. I am told that Montreal is taking the majority of flights that are coming into the city, and we certainly are waiting for an update from the Canadian National Safety Board as well with regards to any other information, and the Peel Police will assist with this investigation as well as will the paramedics, and the Toronto Pearson International Airport are doing what they can, and Delta Airlines are keeping their ear to the ground as well as they feed us information as well, Bakari.
Who is that?
No, we did not. The air has been, the sky rather, has been eerily quiet. And as we talked about in the last half hour, seeing no planes in the sky near the vicinity of the airport is certainly something that we're not used to seeing during the daytime. But again, just as a matter of precaution, all those flights are being diverted while this very important investigation continues. Yeah, so we're on Deary Road looking southeast at the runway itself, and we certainly will carry that update once it happens, but we are standing as close as we could get to the runway without being on the roadway, of course, and it's from this location that we're able to see the emergency lights on the vehicle. I can still see the plane, of course, on its roof, and the fire are on scene doing their work. That remains the same, and I have seen a couple of Toronto paramedic vehicles go by. I suspect what's happened here, and this is just based on my experience with emergency services. If Peel paramedics are tied up here at the airport, Toronto will step in and do their calls for service in and around the areas here. I think this is why we are seeing the Toronto paramedic vehicles going by as often as we are. But as far as any activity on the airport property itself, there is no such activity when it comes to paramedic vehicles, and there is no more emergency vehicles going in or coming out of the airport from what I can see. So there is an update coming, eh?
Yeah, I think there's
So apparently this has already been politicised. There's a lot of talk that NBC News are blaming Donald Trump. Saying that firing of FAA employees, but there's so much politicism today, isn't there? It's just constant, it seems. A lot of division over these things politically. But yeah, crazy scenes. There we go. I assume they'll be giving an update at some point soon in terms of what happened. I mean, I could come on when there's more details on what's going on here. I could come live, do a broadcast when more comes out. I think we should be getting the live updates in terms of the news conference. But yeah, that's the latest anyway. So that's what they've said. There's several people been injured. Most people got off the plane miraculously, seemingly. 3 are critically injured. And updates are going to follow. There were 80 passengers on board of the plane. And sadly, there's 1 child and 2 adults who are critically injured in this incident. At the moment, it seems to be that there was bad weather, and a lot of people are speculating that that could be the cause. But another situation here, which we're covering, as someone said in the chat, no fear. It's these things, we've got to remember that there is no fear when we know the hope in Christ for the future. But this is the world we live in. Sometimes these difficult situations happen. And someone was saying the other day about suffering. Of course, this world is fallen, it's corrupted by sin, and difficult things do happen in this world. But we know that there is a world coming where none of this horrible things will happen. This is the result of the fallen world we live in and why these things happen and the suffering that people go through. But we know we have a hope in Jesus beyond this world. So, and also comfort and joy in the midst of difficulties. So yeah, I wanted to show you this current events. This is something breaking news story. So that's the current figures they've given. We'll see if that develops, and we'll see if there is a update later. Please subscribe to the live channel. Click the subscription on the Rise YouTube channel and click the bell for all notifications. So when we do go live, you'll get a notification. We also share it on the Telegram group and the Facebook Rise News Facebook chat, which is pinned to the top of the Rise Facebook page. These are other ways to get notified if YouTube doesn't send you a notification. If the mods could post those in the live chat, so anyone who wants to use those means are welcome to. So thank you for joining us, and see you soon. If there's any updates, I will be live again. Take care.